All right. I am Linda Deir, and this guy right here.
Ray Holly, the managing director of all things that need managing and directing
Yep.
here at lindadeer.com.
And he's good at it, you guys. What would I do without my Ray Holly? Okay, today, In Two Worlds with Linda Deir and Ray Holly. Welcome to episode number 256 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, a weekly gift of guidance from Linda's spirit guide angels on navigating the uncertain world that you are now living in. Tonight, the guides will talk about find your heart and you will find your way. The takeaway from this week's episode: once you find out what your heart really does, you will have a different perspective on life. Here's what this will do for you. Once you connect with heart energy, you will never be bored, never doubt yourself, and never stop growing. And here's what I want you to do with it. Keep a journal of what your heart is telling you, because it will always be much different than what your head is saying. Heart energy is much like telepathic communication without words. How it works. If you want to know the lies from the truth, listen to what your heart is telling you. The heart has a habit of surprising you as it delivers the truth unexpectedly. You can't control what your heart perceives as you do with your head or brain. It is lightning fast and it's truthful truthful communication style. The wisdom of the heart is brutally honest and designed to keep you on your path or get you there. It's not a time waster as it points you to your true north, but it is your job to move that way. So if you don't trust what your heart is telling you, you get the insight from your heart, you just know something that you can't explain with reasoning, and you argue with that, you fight that internally with yourself, then you're coming from your brain. Your brain doesn't have the power, doesn't have it doesn't tell you the truth, where the heart tells you the truth no matter what. It might even be something you didn't want to hear, but it will never cheat you. It will always tell you that truth. So Ray, did we have a comment on this one?
We certainly did have a good comment today from Viola.
All right,
in the
Viola.
Netherlands.
Yes, an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
Very. Check this out.
Okay, Viola said, when I look around at what is going on in the world and in my little country right now, I love this insight that listening to our heart is bringing us to the truth. Today, the Dutch Minister of Health announced that people who take the vaccine for COVID-19 will get special privileges and advantages, and the people who don't will have to stay longer in lockdown. This got to me, straight into my heart. This feels like manipulation. And is so unfair. Why would they do that? I am not the kind of person who speaks up easily. There are only a few people around me that feel the same as I do about what is going on. So I tend to keep it all to myself because speaking out does not feel safe. This also feels very lonely. My partner, who is an intensive care nurse, believes everything that the mainstream media tells us. My heart is telling me to stick to my truth and to accept the consequences of that decision. If I would take that vaccine and comply, it would feel like I was selling my body and soul to the devil. I love my free will.
And how does she close that, Ray?
Oh, I love the way she closed it. And I love Linda and Ray and their weekly insights with a big heart. there. We love you too.
We do, Viola. Okay.
Okay, and Linda said, sticking to your truth and willing to pay the consequences of that truth will indeed draw the line between you and those who mindlessly follow the imposed mandates. Freedom is not free. We must all take a stand like Viola did.
So there's that heart energy. Just she's following her heart energy. But you guys, there's going to be consequences. Most people don't know what that is. Most people don't follow that. Okay. And it's not where you have an opinion about, I want this to happen or that to happen. That comes from your brain. What comes through you from your heart isn't necessarily something that you're even going to want to know, but it's the truth. The heart doesn't lie. It doesn't know how to lie. Ray, talk about the heart a little bit.
Well, I read some research articles about the heart energy field. There's an energy field around the heart. There's an energy field around your brain. But the heart is the most powerful source of electromagnetic energy in the human body, producing the largest rhythmic electromagnetic field of any of the body's organs. The heart's electrical field is about 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical activity generated by the brain. All this activity can be measured by an electrocardiogram. It could be detected anywhere in the body on the surface, and it goes out several feet in all directions.
Out beyond your
right, in like
body.
circles, all the way around you, like big circles.
And that's what people pick up on. They can feel your energy. That's what they really pick up on, is that frequency that's going out, that's beyond your body, that's expanding. And the more heart energy that you are invested in at any given time, the more the people around you can feel that. They either like you or they don't. Or animals totally feel it, and they'll be attracted to you. There's no question about it.
That's how I ended up with over 100 cats. Got one at the pound. All the rest of them said, hey, we're attracted to that guy. All right. So the timing in these pulses, in between the pulses that your heart is sending out,
Boom, boom,
is modulated and regulated by different emotional states. So a lot of studies have been done that show different electromagnetic waveforms go out depending if you're afraid, if you're paranoid, or if you're happy, and things like that.
The heart picks up on what's going on around you. It looks out for you. It's protecting you. It's always telling you the truth.
And it picks up on these emotional feelings, and it sends signals to the brain about how to respond.
Right. So
Could
it
be
might
fight or flight. Could be, I like this a lot.
That's right.
What's interesting is people don't really take a lot of time to relax. Most people are so stressed out. They don't meditate. They don't relax. They don't take any time out for themselves. But the Japanese had an interesting thing that they do.
And I want to make a correction here.
Yeah.
Ray kept referring to the word emotion. It's not true. It is an emotion. An emotion comes from your head. Okay. This is a feeling.
Right.
It's not an emotion. There's a difference between those two, you guys. If you're emotional, you're getting emotional about something, you're not clear. Your head's invested. Your heart is not playing into it at all. You're not getting information from your heart. You're getting it from your head. All right. But when it's a feeling, it just shows up, and you have this feeling that it just showed up and you can't deny it. That's coming from your heart, giving you that information.
Yeah, that's why what you hear with your heart is the truth.
That's right.
Because it feels like truth. It feels like love.
It feels like love, because even if it was something you didn't want to really hear, or, it's unfortunate, the information that came through, it's from divine love that comes through to protect you, that loves you, that gives you that information, not to hurt you, not to make you stress out, but to warn you, to guide you to whatever it is, okay? You can feel the difference. It's not shouting at you. It's not a mandate, it's not being forced on you. That comes from the head. That comes from being influenced from from outside influence, okay, from this world. The heart comes from your inner world. It's your compass. It's your intuition. It's telepathic. Okay.
Right. It's interesting. The heart communicates with the brain in 4 ways: neurological communication through the nervous system, biophysical communication, pulse waves that go out, biochemical communication, the hormones that are released,
Yeah.
and energetic communication, the electromagnetic field. And this is why you can communicate not only with your own brain, but they found that your heart has a direct impact and is communicating with the brains of other people around you sometimes. That's like when you might say that's telepathic. So if you want to be telepathic, that's what you have to develop. You have to develop your heart energy.
You have to trust your heart. And the way you trust your heart, give me a minute. Here's what I want you to do with it. Okay, the 3 points at the top. Keep a journal of what your heart is telling you, because it will always be much different from what your head is saying. That's what Ray just talked about.
Yeah,
You've got to write it down. If you don't write it down, you guys, you won't become conscious of what's going on in the moment that it's happening, and you'll keep missing it. You'll have it for a minute, and then you won't totally connect with it because you're not conscious yet. You only become conscious when you start writing it down and tracking what's going on with you. Pretty soon, you'll start getting lightning fast at this. But you've got to start writing it down because you're not conscious. Believe me, you're not.
One way to tell, a couple ways to tell if you're feeling with your heart, you're hearing with your heart, is when you walk into a room and you just feel that something's off here.
Yeah.
Something's off.
Feel.
Something's not right.
Feel. Trust that feeling. Trust your heart.
Or you walk into the room and the saying is, the air was so thick you could cut it with a knife. I mean, you could actually feel.
Yeah. You guys know what that is.
Yeah, to feel the problem in the room somewhere.
Yeah.
One thing that the Japanese do that I thought was pretty interesting about training their heart to hear and feel more is they do something called forest bathing, where they go out to a forest. In fact, the Japanese call it Shinrin Yoku, which means spend time with the trees. So they all go out into a nice forest, a big forest, and alone or with their families, and quietly they just observe and drink in what's going on as they walk through the forest.
Present.
And they'll stay there all day or all afternoon. So what they found out that it has physical and also psychological benefits, a lot of them. The fresh air and the trees too emit oils, some kind of oils that protect against germs and insects, and are called phytoncides, and they help boost your immune system.
How about that?
So you don't want to be wearing a mask while you're walking through the forest.
Well, here's the whole point. You need to get out into nature and let it help your immune system. Get present and listen to your heart. At that moment, you're going to feel, as you're moving through the forest, and you turn your phone off. Don't your phone, you leave your phone in the car because you never know if you're going to need it, but turn it off so that you can give yourself a chance to breathe and hear what your heart is telling you. Feel what that is, okay?
So they found that when you're walking through the forest, your heart rate goes down, your blood pressure goes down, and it reduces the stress hormone levels in your body. So that in turn will help reduce depression and boost your energy too. It's like you said, it's a wonderful escape from technology.
Yeah. So you guys fit that into your life. Do the things that support your heart energy, and it will support you. It will support your immune system. It will support your ability to connect. The heart connects. It doesn't disconnect. The mind, the brain disconnects. The heart does not. The heart doesn't know how to disconnect. It's connected. So what else do we have, Ray?
Well, I think that if people can get this highly developed uh, sense or talent of listening and speaking with your heart, that's really the way elevated creatures, like the extra dimensionals who don't speak. Everything is telepathic. I mean, you've experienced that. Everything's telepathic.
You can't lie.
Right.
When you develop your heart energy, when you learn how to trust it and know it, nobody can lie to you ever again, including yourself. Okay, so Ray, who do we have with us tonight?
Elizabeth Pescuzzi, hi.
Hi, Elizabeth.
And everybody over here is just numbers. A lot of people on YouTube, a lot of people on Facebook.
Okay.
I can't see who they are.
Okay, so you guys make sure that when you work this, I have the journal. Most of you have my journal. This is my journal writing. This is the third part of the journal writing system. This is part 1. My guided journey is part 2. This is where you go back and heal what's in your way, what's causing all the conflict in your life. And this is your journey forward, where it's called the roadmap to consciousness, right here. You use this journal. It's just a journal filled with journal entry pages where you write down what came to you, your heart, what your heart told you. You write it in there, what it was that day. 15 minutes a day using the journal and remembering what that was. Write it down while it's fresh. And then ask yourself how it felt. Okay? That's going to give you what you need to know, to realize what it's telling you, to have a realization. You can't miss it once you flush out how it felt. And I'm not talking about, it felt good or it was nice. No, that's not answering the question. That's surface. That's like skipping a rock over the water, top of the water. That's not looking into it. That's not getting the juice. Write down question yourself. Inquire about what you wrote and read it over and over again until you realize what that feeling is, what it's telling you, what your heart is telling you, how it felt. And then, bam, instantly, you're going to have a realization. You're going to know what to do. That's the fourth part of this system. What action are you going to take? And really, what it is what action are you going to be able to take now that you have this information that you didn't have before? It's time to become conscious. This is how it's going to happen. You've got to start writing these things down. You've got to start tracking your steps so that you can get in tune with what this is. Because you guys, we're living in a world of liars. Okay. Sorry, I hate to say it, but man, the liars are out in full force. The scammers. It's just nuts how much of that is out there. How do you cut through it? How do you get to the source of the problem? How do you avoid all that nonsense? And it's really like 95% nonsense now. How do you know the lie from the truth? You connect with the heart energy. You spend 15 minutes a day with yourself, where you write that down, what that heart energy told you, how it felt then, what you realize, and bam, the action you're going to be able to take. It finds you. It's a natural flow. It's not hard at all. And I'll tell you what, you do this for a month, you are going to be on automatic. This is going to be alive inside you. You're going to know it's just going to be working for you all the time. You won't be missing it anymore. All right. I'm going to say that because you came in with this ability. You absolutely were all full on heart energy. You loved everyone. You didn't have a judgment about anything. You were all in. Okay. You had the highest expectations. You were happy. Okay. And then the people in this world started taking what they learned, unfortunately, and started imposing that on you. And then this new person that just came in retreated. And all you had left of yourself was just being in this world. Now that's frightening when that's all you think this is. You are in two worlds. You are in the world that you came from, where your guides followed you here. You are not alone. You are always being guided while you're in this world. You're not separate. The heart does not separate. It's connected.
Yeah, it's the heart energy that connects to the next person next to you and the entire universe. That's the common denominator, is the heart energy for communicating with all and everything that's in the universe. You know, you mentioned one thing. You're right, it's the feeling. Unless you have the feeling, you don't have the experience. And this week's today's insight talked about, if you think only with your brain or your head, you're only going to have a surface level knowledge. And the example that the guides gave, I thought was really good. You can read about how to ski and wish you could someday do it, but you don't understand it until you actually take that first ski trip down the slope. It's the exhilaration, the feeling, and what you realized from the experience that is your true heart knowledge.
That's right. That's right. You know. You don't have to ask somebody else, is this true? What do you think? What's your opinion? You won't even bother with that. The heart doesn't need validation. The brain needs validation. So if you're out there looking for validation, you're not coming from here. Okay. How are you going to catch yourself doing this? That's why I wrote these journals, you guys, to help you flush it out and find your way. It consistently, every time. You are the one that you can depend on. You are the one you can trust or not. Okay.
Yeah, it's how you learn to make good decisions. Once you can't make a decision about going skiing until you actually do it. You can watch movies about it. You could read books about it. You could talk to your friends who go skiing about it, but you still don't know what it is until you feel it. So once you feel it, that's when you start to realize something. You might realize, hey, this was cool, man. I want to do this again. It's like a roller coaster ride. You're afraid of it until you get on it once, then you get off and jump right back on.
That's right.
But until you have the feeling, you can't realize anything.
The feeling. Okay, that's what you use this for. You write down what that was and the feeling. Once you have that information, you will automatically realize what you realize and the action you can take. Before that, you're not able to take any action. You're still coming from here.
Right.
You're not connected. You have not connected. Okay, so this world, the world you came from, is just like this hemisphere and this hemisphere. And you start bringing these two together. You're in this world, okay? So this is what you signed up for. That's part of what goes on here. Okay, so how do you manage what's going on here and make really good decisions, decisions that are good for you? You have to be connected to you, and then the connection to guidance, connection to source is a byproduct of that. You don't have to go looking for it. It's not out there. It's right here. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me wrap this up, Ray.
There
okay.
You go.
Okay. So so that's what we're talking about with this heart energy. It's critical. It's critical for your life. And when you get, I'm going to say this is going to happen, especially in the beginning. When you start listening to heart energy, you slow down and you become present. You're not busied up in your head, okay? Because you will not receive it in your heart when you're fully invested here. It will not, you can't do both, all right? Breathe, become present. Let your heart tell you what it feels, okay? Write down what that experience was, the roller coaster ride, the ski trip, the whatever it happened to be, driving your car, boom, guidance came through. Write it down. How did it make you feel? What did you realize? Now you've got the capacity to take action on it that you never would have had before. That's the process, you guys. It's simple, but you've got to start doing it every day, 15 minutes a day, in investment in you. Okay, let this go. Let this go. This is not going anywhere, but it's time to develop this, and it will catch you by surprise. It will surprise you. I'll use one example. In Guided, in part 4, I talk about when I met Ray. And when I went to his house, I wasn't sold on Ray yet. And he had me over to his house. And, he had the lanai set up with some cheese and some crackers and some wine. As soon as I sat down, I did not expect this. I had my guard up, okay? Bam. I felt his energy. It knocked me over. It took everything I had to not do what I'm doing right now, where the emotion just comes through. I couldn't stop it. And it's not something I even wanted. And it showed up, and I felt how he was not appreciated. I felt how, he really wanted to be with me. I felt how he was giving it another shot, even though he was disappointed so many times in his life. I felt it all. Okay. And I was like, I felt my kindred spirit. I felt what I had been through in my life. And it was like, oh my God, it took everything I had to sit there and keep my composure, right? But you guys, it had me. My heart told me a truth. It just ripped my chest open. It would not let me see it. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. It'll get to the point when you get so, it's empathic. You can't not feel it. You can't not know it. Okay. It was divine. It was way past me, way over my head. Okay. That's what heart energy feels like. Did it catch me off guard? Totally. I had my guard totally up. I was like, no, I'm not letting, I'll go out with him and stuff, but I'm not going there. Right. And you guys, it was bigger than me. The heart energy is bigger than you. Start spending 15 minutes a day with your heart. It's going to tell you everything you need to know. And it's never been more important than now. Okay. Okay. So we're going to close the session with the guide's closing message about our session today. Find your heart and you will find your way. But I'm going to read a few announcements first. Join us on Tuesday, November 17th for episode number 257 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me, Ray, and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and on my YouTube channel. Use the search term Linda Deir. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about attending to what enters your awareness. Things are entering your awareness all the time. It's what you do with your focus that makes or breaks your awareness experience. You can either focus on things internally, like having a conversation with yourself when contemplating deeply about a problem, or focus your awareness outwardly, running the risk of just living your life on autopilot. Think about awareness. Awareness is being conscious and aware of what's going on, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with it or not. Following that awareness, your interpretation will produce either a positive or negative result. So join us next Tuesday. This Saturday, November 14th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I will be reading from chapter 26 of Guided. Guided has 28 chapters, so we're wrapping it up. You can watch live on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and on my YouTube channel using the search term Linda Deir. And this Thursday, November 12th at 6 p.m. Pacific time, join us on our private Facebook group, Ask the Universal Channel. The teachers of Ask the Universal Channel will perform the following. And this is different this time. This is real interesting. Joy, Veronica, and Kathy, they're the primary teachers on this group, and they're doing an awesome job. They will channel their guides about this year's extraordinary stress. This will be interesting. So what they do is each one of them channel the information separately with their audio off while you're watching them do it. And then they turn their audio back on and pull their screens up, because they point the screens down on Ask the Universal channel while they're doing it so you can watch. When they pull them back up, each one of them tell you what guidance came through and told them about that topic. This event will be hosted by Linda Deir and Ray Hawley. So look for it on Facebook, Ask the Universal channel. And if you're not a member, ask to join. And if my work helps you in any way, tell your like-minded friends about my books, Tuesdays, Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, our webinars we do the last Saturday of every month. Saturday, when I read from my books, we do a lot of stuff, you guys. And I also do training, and Ray and I together do coaching, private sessions with you. So go to the website and check it all out. And the guides are going to close tonight's session about find your heart, and you will find your way. And here they go.
The decisions that you make that impact your life all start with a feeling. It's feeling something that brings with it a realization of how much that feeling will affect your life. Then once you have that realization, take action. It's the action that leads to the healing. In essence, feeling is healing.
And you know, when Ray and I met and we were going strong, we spent the first 2 years of our lives together doing a lot of healing together. After all we had been through, I was 52 and Ray was 53 at the time. So, you know, we had some stuff to work out, and we did it together in that love energy. You guys, that's it. Okay. You are never alone and always being guided.
Good night, everybody.